Hello, everybody.
How's everybody doing?
Welcome to the first episode of the Low Carb Lounge.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
I have Greg here from My Weight Loss Life. I have Aaron from Brewing Better Living, and I am Brian from Wick Carnivore. Welcome, everybody. I see there's some people starting to talk in the chat. Let me look here really quickly. We have a good agenda today. We have a guest that'll be coming on the show here in probably about 30 minutes, Alison Johnson. So we're excited for that. And just do a quick rundown here. Greg, first, why don't you and I introduce ourselves for anybody that's not familiar with us? And then we're going to go to Erin and let her give a little background about herself. So, Greg, why don't you get us started?
Awesome. Well, how's everybody doing tonight? Hope everybody's looking forward to the show like I am. This has been in the works for a little while. We're pretty excited about it. And, we just want to have some fun here and just enjoy our time together and hopefully bring some good knowledge to the table for everybody. But my name is Greg, and my channel is at My Weight Loss Life on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram at my.weightloss.life as well, especially for the listeners out there. I know this is gonna be on a podcast too, so just want to make you aware of that. That's where you can find me. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, a year ago at this time in January, I was in a kind of a dark place. I thought I was going to be disabled the rest of my life, and I decided to do something about it. And I went on a low carb diet, which quickly turned to keto, did some ketovore, also some carnivore. In a 2-month period, I lost 35 pounds. In 5 months, I lost 70 pounds. And a little over 8 months, 1 week, I lost over 100 pounds. So it's one of those things that is a combination of all those plans, and they all work well. Anything low carb works well. And I changed my life. I actually went back to work here in December, and I feel so much better. And it's been amazing. So in a nutshell, that's kind of my story. And obviously I like helping other people, and that's why we're here. So hopefully I can make a difference in someone else's life. So how about you, Brian?
All right. So again, my name is Brian. I have the Wick Carnivore YouTube channel, also known as wickivore. It's at wickivore, as you can see on the screen here. That was just like my funny play on words, carnivore. My last name is Nowicki, so Wick. Anyway, so yeah, I've lost 80 pounds on basically the carnivore diet over the last 18 months. January 1st was exactly 18 months. So I'm a little bit past 18 months now, and healed a lot of different issues. One of the big things for me was AFib. I was having a couple episodes a week. I started having AFib back in 2018 when I started Carnivore in spring, or actually in July of 2022. I was having a couple episodes a week. Pretty quickly, I noticed that the episodes went away, and I'm about 17 months. Yeah, about 17 months now without a single episode of AFib. My cardiologist has taken me off of the medication for AFib and everything, and says that I'm no longer high risk for it. So that's a great thing. And, I owe that all to this low carb way of eating. So that's pretty much me. I do have a new shirt that I got for Christmas that I got to show off today. It's my food pyramid. So let me show this real quick. Didn't really want to stand up here, but you can kind of see. So somebody, I can't, I think one of my daughters got me this. I could be wrong, for Christmas, because I got a few different things for Christmas, like, you know, carnivore related. So this was pretty cool. So that's me. And let me just check our comments really quick before we go to Erin, because we're going to give her a little more time to tell her story. So let's see. We got Gerald out there. Hello, Gerald. Brad, episode number 1. Yes. All right. Yes, Brad. Well, the reason why is we're saving Erin for last, best for last.
Best for last. That's right.
Yeah, she's got a better story than we do, so you know. William is out here. Hello, William. Semi-retired Bob. Good to see you. Good evening.
How you doing? Welcome, everyone.
All right. So let me go here. And Erin, we're going to give the floor to you to give us your background.
Okay, so anybody that doesn't know me, I'm Erin. I've been on the football party several times, but still might not know me. My channel on YouTube is Brewing Better Living, and I'm also on that same handle at Instagram, TikTok now, and I also have a show on Spotify also by that name. Now, my story is a little bit longer. I have a pretty long history of like weight loss struggles and health issues going all the way back to when I was a kid. But the bulk of it happened when I hit my mid-30s. I hit a high of almost 200 pounds at that time. And I'm only 5'2", by the way, if that means anything. So 200 pounds on me is a lot. So at that point, I basically decided I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I started to walk, and then I started to run, and I changed my eating habits. And within a year, I had lost quite a bit of weight, and I was down into the 130s. So that was my major weight loss, was back then. And then I ran a half marathon, and I was just really into all of that. But oddly enough, at that point in my life, when I should have been my healthiest, that's when my health just started to fall apart, basically. I started to experience all sorts of crazy symptoms that were seemingly not connected. This would go on for a couple of years. I was going from doctor to doctor, specialists. I was in and out of the ER several times. And at one point, finally, a doctor suggested to me that I might have celiac disease. So I was referred to a gastroenterologist. And I didn't ultimately get diagnosed with celiac at that point, but I was diagnosed with a condition called SIBO. And if you don't know what that is, it's small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So with that issue, there was a couple things they did, but I followed a low FODMAP diet, and I also went strict gluten-free with that. And over the course of time, like almost all of my symptoms went away, and I had my life back. So I continued on doing that gluten-free thing for about 4 years at that point throughout the pandemic. And then towards the end of the pandemic, I was like fed up and frustrated like everybody else in the world. And I just wanted to live my life and do what I wanted to do. So I started to eat the gluten again, and I was fine at first. And then the symptoms kind of like crept back up on me, and I would deny it, saying it's fine. I don't have celiac disease. It's not the gluten, blah, blah, blah. But stuff kept happening. And then in a routine blood screening last year, when I had all my basic blood counts done, and the doctor also ran a full celiac panel, I popped up as being positive for celiac antibodies. So after going through all of the testing involved with that for a couple of months, one day last May, in 1 day's time, I went strict gluten-free and very low carb. And that was the start of like my major low carb journey. And within a short period of time, a lot of things got better, both my physical symptoms and major with my mental health, like my anxiety and any problems that I had just basically like disappeared. I mean, I have said this several times. I could have never been here doing this like back years ago. That just wouldn't have happened because I wouldn't have had the nerve to speak in front of people and to share my story and stuff like that. But basically in the last couple of months, like I've been doing the low carb thing and switched it around. I like to experiment on myself and see what works best for me. And I've started to do strength training again, and just I have a passion for like fitness and things like that. So I've just kind of like transformed my entire life, like physical and mental. And I'm also going to get my nutrition cert now, which is pretty cool because I want to see, if I can help people with everything that I've been through and everything that I've learned. So that's
Awesome.
basically my my story.
Great. All right. And I want to bring up a couple more people.
Yeah, there's some good comments there for sure.
Gerald just starting out his own carnivore journey. So congratulations.
Welcome,
and good
Gerald.
luck, Gerald. And Mike Shaw is in the lounge. I was going to say in the house, but he's in the lounge. Right? Hello, Mike.
The lounge lizards.
And yes, we all agree, Aaron's the best.
By the way, not alcoholic, guys. It's cold equip in a martini glass.
There you go. Greg, what are you drinking?
Little H2O tonight. Just plain.
Special, because I normally just have my water bottle, regular water. This is special for our first episode.
That's
right here.
Stuff right there.
Nice. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Pellegrino sparkling mineral water. So, there you go. All right. So we are going to have a guest coming on in a little bit, but right now we're going to turn to some trivia questions we have. So the way this will work is we'll ask a trivia question. I've got a few of them here that we're going to queue up. We'll ask you guys a trivia question, give everybody a chance to answer it in the chat. And then we'll, go with what the answers are. So, Greg, I'm going to turn this over to you.
All right. Our first trivia question of the night. How many teaspoons of sugar does the average American eat each day? And if you want to go ahead and answer in the comments, that would be great. Yeah. If you're a listener on a podcast, just play along and we'll give you the answer here after a bit.
Sorry, Aaron, you didn't like that being the only one on screen?
I was like, where'd you go? 120. Whoa.
So how many teaspoons of sugar? So, wow. Mike says 120.
Let's keep in mind a teaspoon is 4 grams of sugar, if that gives you an idea.
Brad says 200. Keto Cheeto is here. I just put this up real quick. Pellegrino, some of their water has, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Quinine? Cures leg cramps. Good. Okay. Good. That's good to know. It's the first time I've ever tried it, so.
It's good.
William says average of 220. Okay. Back to our question here. How many teaspoons of sugar does the average American eat each day? If you got a guess, go ahead and put it in the chat. So far, we've had 120, 200, and 220. Boy, I'm trying to think. What would I guess for this? That seems like a lot. You said how many teaspoons are
4 grams of sugar in a teaspoon.
4 grams in a teaspoon. Okay. I'm gonna just guess 50. I don't know. I could be off.
I know I don't hardly eat any sugar, so
yeah.
Here's another guess for 50. Maybe I'm close. I don't know. 800 from Gerald. Okay, and here's how you pronounce that. KY9. KY9. Be Christy.
Hey, Christy.
Here's a guess for 100. Okay. Again, how many teaspoons of sugar does the average American eat each day? Greg, should we go to the answer here?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Drum roll, please.
That seems low,
That
doesn't
was a
it?
very quick drum roll.
The answer is 20 teaspoons.
So
Yeah, it's
you said 4 grams of sugar in a teaspoon, so that would be
Yeah,
80 grams
that
of
does
sugar.
seem low, doesn't it?
That does. So I don't know if anybody saw that video I did about the Dunkin' Donuts drink, but that
Yeah.
one drink had 185
yeah.
grams.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who they pulled to get 20 teaspoons.
People that don't drink that stuff or soda.
Yeah, maybe. That seems kind of low to me, but
I
okay,
think so.
that was the first trivia question. You want to give us the next trivia question, Greg?
Sure.
All right.
How many out of every 15 people in the United States have an autoimmune disease? So how many out of every 15 people have an autoimmune disease in the United States? That's an interesting question too. For sure. Go ahead and put your guesses in the comments.
So Keto Cheeto says 6 or 7. Bypass Carnivore, hello, he's 13. Going back to the last question, yeah, William, I don't think that is counting everything that turns into sugar from carbs, but my Apex Odyssey says 6 out of 15. Jason, hello, he says 10. Mike is saying 4. Brad says 2 out of 15.
If I was guessing, I don't know the answer for this, but I'm guessing 3. That'd be my guess.
William says 10. Yeah, I'm trying to think. So out of how many out of 15 have an autoimmune disease? Wow. All right, I'm just gonna put my guess out there. It's gonna be 6. That's gonna be my guess. So that's probably too many, but who knows? All right, Greg, you ready for us to see the answer?
I'm ready. And the answer is 1 in 15. And the source is the Cleveland Clinic.
I believe that's diagnosed too. So imagine there's probably a lot more people than that because that does too, just like the sugar.
Yeah, people that don't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like what, 7.5% of the population? Okay.
Yeah, close to 7%. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think we got one more question, Greg.
Sounds good. All right. What is the most expensive beef in the world? Once again, what is the most expensive beef in the world? I think this one might be pretty easy, but.
Mike.
Okay, so answers are starting to come in. Wagyu. Did I say that right? Wagyu. Wagyu.
That would have been my first guess. Wagyu.
I was going to say the steak that I bought last night. It's the most expensive, it seems like. Whenever I go to buy steak, anyways.
Another Wagyu. Another Wagyu. Whoops, if I can click on it. There we go. Another. Am I saying that right? Wagyu or Wagi? I can never remember.
I think Wagyu is right.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. All right. Obviously, it's too expensive for my taste because I can't even pronounce it. Brad says Wagyu. Everybody's saying Wagyu. Could be. I'm going to guess it's probably not sirloin or chuck. That's the best guess I can give. I have no idea what it's going to be. But you guys might be right.
Kobe
Carnivore with Kobe.
Kobe?
Interesting.
Got another one.
And Brad says or Kobe, and then William says or Kobe.
Might be a trick question.
Wow. Wagyu is the only kind I know about except Great Value. Porterhouse. Filet. That's a possibility, maybe. Mhm. Yep, Gerald's not sure either.
I was
I'm
going
with
to
you. I
say
have
too,
no idea.
besides your guesses in the comments, if you want to put where you're from, we'd love to see that too.
Yeah. All right. Greg, are you ready for the answer?
Yep. And the answer is, drum roll, please. Colby beef, $50 per ounce in the United States.
$50 per ounce. So I like to eat like a 20 to 24 ounce steak when I eat. So that's like a wait. Am I thinking right? That's like $1,000.
It's really expensive.
Yeah, 10 ounces would be $500 steak.
So yeah, if I went with a 20-ounce steak, that would be $1,000. Oh my gosh. That's why I don't eat Kobe beef.
I'd be afraid to cook it.
Really? What if you mess it up?
Exactly.
All right, so we got some people telling us where they're from. Mike
Awesome.
is saying Western Iowa.
Cornland.
East Tennessee, 15 plus years.
Nice.
While we're sharing, I'm in Virginia, halfway between Richmond and DC.
Aaron's pretty close to you, I think.
Just a little north, New Jersey.
She's up in New Jersey.
Tell.
And I am from Iowa.
Yep.
Ah.
Gerald is northern middle Tennessee. My Apex Odyssey is Mississippi. Christy at Meeting Wellness, Southern California. Brad.
Yep.
I was going to say parts unknown, but no, it's less than a mile from Greg. Jason is Windsor, Ontario.
Nice. Welcome.
So I grew up in Toledo, Ohio, and then lived just across the state line into Michigan, not very far from Windsor. Windsor is just across Detroit. So it's pretty cool. William is from Ambridge, Pennsylvania. Christy says Southern California, halfway between Los Angeles and San Diego. Piedmontese, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Piedmontese, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Did I pronounce it correctly? I hope. Lunchtime in South Australia. Ooh, so
Wow.
It is Friday there then, right? Yeah.
People from all over the world are in the Low Carb Lounge. I love it.
Yeah. Yes, it is summer down there.
Yeah.
Oh, running tap
Nice.
12 is here. Hello.
Awesome. Hello.
Brisbane, Australia. Yeah, William's talking about the Rust Belt in Pennsylvania. Yep. So like around the Pittsburgh area, I'm guessing that is. Yeah. Yes, I agree, Mike. We meet the coolest people here. All right, let me see. Let me check my little agenda. And okay, we have a few more minutes before our guest is going to come in. So there's something else I want to talk about. So let me go in here. And there is, so there is a new electrolyte product on the market that released Tuesday night to, for sale. So I want to talk about that. It's called Hydra Active. It is from a company called Cerule, which some of you may know that I have been selling Cerule products. But I'm really excited about this one because it's an electrolyte. And similar to like Element, you have like the little packet and you get like 30 packets in a box. I think when I looked online, retail price for Element was about $5 more than this product. So it, it fits in the price range pretty good. And the other thing is it has something in it called Cyactive, which helps to reduce inflammation. So one of the things that's good with that, with having that in a hydration type of drink, is like, let's say you're working out and so forth, that's going to help to relax your muscles and the inflammation in your muscles from just working out. So it's going to help you to recover a little bit quicker from your workout as well. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to put down here where you can go check it out. If you go to this link, and I guess I should put that link in the chat too, you'll have the ability to go read up on it and see if you're interested in it.
And it just came out like 2 days ago. So
yeah,
it's new to the market.
So it is new. And I can tell you, I actually got to test this product out. So I tested it. I had a 10-day trial test of it and took 1 packet a day for 10 days. And here's the link here again. So if you're on my channel, at least you can probably click on that link. But anyway, I trialed it for 10 days, and you know what? Let me share something real quick. I got to figure out how to share again because I can never remember how to do that. Okay, here we go. All right. So you can see here's the product. Here's what it looks like. And then there's the pricing, which is really hard to see. I don't know how to make that bigger. But anyways, a single purchase is $34.95 for the 30 packets. And if you did like an auto ship, which you could cancel an auto ship at any time, but if you went onto the auto ship, it's $29.95. So it's got a pretty good price point, I think. Anyway, I tested it for 10 days, and I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Okay, so I tested it for 10 days, and I noticed definitely, just like any good electrolyte mix, you're going to feel refreshed from it. It has all the good stuff that you need for electrolytes, right? Sodium, magnesium, potassium, has magnesium glycinate in it. And then, like I said, it has the Cyactive, which helps with the reducing inflammation. And that's a big one. The other thing is there are no carbs, no sugar, no plant material in this at all. So it's completely low carb, carnivore, whatever, if you look at like Element, they tend to have a lot of fake sugars in certain ones of their elements. I know there's some that are not flavored, so those might not have those fake sugars in it, but this doesn't have any of those in it. It actually tastes pretty good, I thought too. There is a question that came up: are they flavored? It has the Cyactive has like this blue green aqua-y like look to it, and it's got kind of a little bit of like a lemony type of taste to it, sort of not like overpowering, but a little bit, so it's just that one flavor. They don't have like different other flavors to it or whatever, but so yeah, that's what they have. And the scrolling thing at the bottom, if you are not already a customer and you go to that site at checkout, you can put save 25 as a discount. Make sure you put all capital letters, and then you get an additional 25% off that first purchase. And again, like if you do the autofill, you get $5 off. So it's the $29. Let me just say this right. It's a $29.95 price point. And you can always cancel your auto ship at any time. So that's that product. I think it's going to be pretty cool because not only is it going to help for people that need it with electrolytes, if you work out a lot. It's funny, just the other day, I was watching a Sean Baker video, Dr. Sean Baker, and he was mentioning how he doesn't really use much of anything, but occasionally, because that he works out so much, he does need to refill his electrolytes. So he'll use some kind of electrolyte mix. So this will be perfect for that. And again, it not only has those electrolytes, but then it has the inflammation reducing powers of the Cyactive in it. So that's pretty cool.
That's what makes me very interested in the product, just to see if it really helps with that inflammation. Cause that could be a lifesaver for somebody that struggles with arthritis, and that could make a big difference if it reduces that joint pain for sure. So I'm anxious to try it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. So it is time to bring in our next guest. And let me just kind of clean up the screen here. All right. So I'm sorry, I'm falling a little bit behind here, but I'm trying to find here we go. All right. So here we go. We'll bring in our guest.
Hey.
Hi.
Oh, see, I forgot to remove this. There we go. Alison Johnson. Hello, Alison. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I have a new setup too, so I'm like, where do I look?
Okay. All right. So, Alison,
hi everybody.
I've got your channel here, so I'm going to put it. So here we go. Anybody that's not familiar with Alison, her channel is at Alison Johnson 6710. So, Alison, let's give you a few minutes to tell everybody about yourself.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me on. I am Alison Johnson, and I have lived with chronic autoimmune illness for a long time. Most of them are healed or, treated. And I have been eating a carnivore diet for a year on the 16th. So on Tuesday, it'll be 1 year. And it has really helped improve my life, my mental health. I lost weight. All my blood work, improved, and lost weight. And the two autoimmune illnesses that I have now that are mild, they're much better. So now I just like to talk to people about, carnivore, low carb, keto, the spectrum of animal-based diets, and tell everybody about the benefits.
All right. So I'm going to put on here really quick our topic for tonight, and this is going to tie in well for you. So again, bear with me because I'm slow at this stuff sometimes. I got way too many banners to look at. Here we go. Tonight's topic, healing autoimmune issues with diet. So, Alison, why don't you start with this? I know you just gave us a little bit of a background, but can you go into more detail about autoimmune and what you've gone through and experienced with this?
Sure. So when I was 23, so it was 98, I was 23, I had an episode of severe vertigo, dizziness. And I was very, very lucky. I got into an ear, nose, and throat doctor, which is a specialist for that kind of thing, for ear stuff. And he gave me a diagnosis of Meniere's disease. And he said, it's an inner ear disease. We have no idea why people come down with it. It's usually people that are older, like in their 50s and 60s, and they're usually men. And I was 23 and I was a girl. So he said, we can just manage this a couple of ways. There's nothing you can do about it. You just kind of have to ride it out. And it was an intense period of vertigo, and it would hit me all at once and cause, to be sick, nausea. I couldn't stand up. I couldn't do anything. And I would have to lay down in a quiet room and wait for it to pass. And it would take hours, like 10 to 12 hours. And then I would always get a headache. So, and every time that happened, he's like, your hearing is going to be just a little bit damaged. And they can't really do any definitive testing for it, except, what are your symptoms and what are you experiencing? And then they will do like hearing tests, and you usually start to lose your low frequency hearing. And so he said, well, a couple of things you can do. You can control it and keep your inflammation down with diet, low salt. And at the time, and it's the same treatment now, 25 years later, low salt, no caffeine, no alcohol. And really, if you go on, a heart healthy diet or no processed food, that was the only good piece of advice. And a diuretic, which is a water pill, just to keep your fluid level down. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll do that. And because I was 23, I didn't know what I was in store for. So I did find really for a long time, I would only have episodes like 3 or 4 times a year. And they would always be exacerbated by stress or the change of seasons, or if I got a sinus infection or any kind of, viral infection in my head. But until I started having kids. And then when I was pregnant with both my kids, I had to have more treatments. And the treatments became more and more invasive. So one was a surgery. Then I had 3 rounds of injections in my ear to it's to deaden the nerve, because in your inner ear is also your balance. You have a balance system in both sides. Well, then 10 years ago, it's been 10 years in April, I got really, really sick after having a treatment, and I was just treatment resistant. There was just no other treatment. I'd been on a diuretic for 16 years, all these things. And I was just in a very low place. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't take care of my little kids anymore because I was just in this cycle of being sick or being panicked that I would get sick, because like I said, it's very sudden onset. I started developing more symptoms, and I just couldn't live that way anymore. And so I researched on the internet, and I found out there's 2 major treatments. And one is to go in and just sever the nerve inside, or to drill out the inner ear. And that's what I chose to do, because by that time I couldn't hear out of that ear anymore, because I'd had years and years and years of, episodes of dizziness. So I said, well, let's do that. And that was 10 years ago, and it gave me my life back. It was one of the best things I ever did, just because I couldn't function anymore. Like I said, I was just it was so debilitating. So that was my first experience with an autoimmune illness. And of course, alongside it, other things happened, but, and it's an invisible illness, so I would look totally normal. I could be sitting here talking to you, and if I looked over my shoulder, I could look back around and be completely dizzy, out of commission. And so it was really hard for people to understand. And it was hard to manage those feelings and emotions around it, because it's why can't you just be normal? And so, but when we were trying to start a family, it turned out I also had another autoimmune illness that had to do with my thyroid, and that was Graves' disease. And Graves' disease presents as hyperthyroid. So I had a really fast heart rate. My cycle was off. Like I said, we were trying to start our family, so that was way off. And my hands and my feet would get really, really hot. And I was like, this is weird. A lot of times people will experience rapid weight loss also. So I went to my doctor, and she tested me, and I found out that this was Graves' disease. And they said, okay, well, it's autoimmune. We don't know why it happens. But you have to get this under control. And they did some tests, and my thyroid gland itself was okay. I didn't have nodules. I didn't have, cancer or anything like that. They said, okay, here's the treatment. So I'm already taking, all kinds of medicine for my Meniere's disease. Well, they're like, okay, so the treatment is you take radioactive iodine. So it's kind of like a type of radiation. They say, go to nuclear medicine and someone will take care of you. And this is still one of the treatments today, because this was 18 years ago. So I go in there and the guy comes out, and he's got the bunny suit on, like the guy, he's in Contagion and stuff. And he hands me a metal test tube and he's like, "Yo, just take it." He said, "But don't let it touch your lips or anything." He said, like, do a shot. So I was like, "Oh, okay, that's probably fine. It's fine." And I did it. And he's like, "Okay, now go home, and you don't want to be around anybody because your body fluids, saliva, sweat, urine, all that are radioactive. Like, it's radiation. So don't be around anybody for about 3 days." Now, it's a low level, it's not like I was setting off any kind of, alarms or anything, but still. So I did that. And the repercussion of that is that my thyroid does not work at all anymore. It does not. It's atrophied. It's still in there, but it's completely like non-functioning. So I have to take replacement hormone for the rest of my life. And at the time I was 30, so, and I was like, okay, another pill, nobody ever really said, "Oh, what are you eating?" Or, "What are you doing?" So, so those were my two major chronic autoimmune illnesses that I dealt with. And then I have, for about the last 12 years, I've had like rosacea, which is autoimmune. And my case is pretty mild. I have the mask and a little bit of tiny bit of acne from that, but I've always had clear skin. So that's good. But about 4 years ago, I developed something else strange. And it's an inflammation in the eye, and they could never find the root cause of it. Probably some autoimmune thing. They tested me for all kinds of things, but I had it. It's called uveitis, and it's a space that's a particular place in the eye that got really, really inflamed, like really inflamed, and I couldn't see out of it. And of course, it's on my left side because everything on that side is really weak. Atrophied. And so my eye it felt like it was going to explode. It was so red and and they were like, "Oh, well, do you have diabetes?" Because a lot of people with diabetes develop eye issues, And I said, "No, I've never, been told I don't have diabetes." They're like, "Okay, do you have like all kinds of things?" And I said, "No, I don't have any. Lyme disease, lupus, a lot of autoimmune issues." And I said, "I don't have anything like that." And they said, "Okay, well, here's some eye drops, and you have to take them, around the clock." And it took 8 weeks for my eye to heal and to get better. And so sometimes I've had a couple of flare-ups in the last 2 to 3 years. But the last time I had a flare-up, it healed very quickly. It healed within 10 days. And that was incredibly fast. So that is my medical history dealing with autoimmune issues. And it's been a ride.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and with your diet that you've been doing now, it's gotten much better.
Yes, much better.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, like how it's improved?
Yes. So like I said, with my Meniere's and my thyroid treatment for my Graves' disease, those two things were taken care of years before I found out about carnivore. But last year I was wanting to lose weight. I did have a little bit of a flare up or some kind of reaction to all the healthy food I was eating. And so I started looking up elimination diets because I thought, oh, I need a detox and I just need a clean slate. And I did find carnivore because of an elimination diet type thing. And I thought, well, I'll do this for like 2 weeks or for a month because I felt terrible. And I think it scared me. I think the reaction I had, it was like I got really red and really itchy and my chest got tight. I could breathe. I was not struggling to breathe. I just felt tight in my chest and my eye started to feel like, it was like acting up, like I was having a flare up. So I thought, well, I just need something to kind of clean out or detox. And I thought, I'll just do it for a couple of weeks. This is so weird and so strange. And so I can't do this forever. And then after 2 weeks, I was feeling better. And so I thought, well, I'll just do it for 30 days because by that time I was doing all the YouTube videos, and researching, and I found, all of the carnivore YouTube videos. And so I was really just taking those, and I thought, well, I'll do it for 30 days. And then I thought, I saw a video about, triple B and E doing it for 90 days. You really should do an elimination for diet for 90 days to really get the benefits. And I was, I was doing okay. And I thought, well, I could do that for, I could do this for another 60 days. And that would have been around March that it was 60 days. Yeah. Anyway. And so by the time I got to 90 days, I was like, I really like this. I lost some weight. I've lost a lot of inflammation. I feel good. By that time, I had really noticed the mental health benefits, with the brain fog and that just that feeling of just being weighted down by sadness that had lifted. My anxiety had improved a ton. So I thought, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm just going to take it day to day. And I'm going to just keep doing this. And it helped so many things. So I thought, I'm going to keep going. And so now it's been a year.
Great. It's amazing to me how many health issues you can fix just by going low carb and cutting out the sugar and the processed foods. It's really crazy. So if anybody has a question, put this up here again. If anyone has a question for Alison or for any of us, go ahead and put it in the chat and just put a Q in the front so that it's easy for us to see that there's a question there. In the meantime, while we're waiting, Greg, Aaron, do either of you have a question? If not, I can ask a question, but I'll give you guys the opportunity to talk to.
Well, Alison, I'm really glad to finally actually meet you because I've seen you online. I saw you on Lioness, and I think I even commented on that because I felt like some of the things that you were sharing were almost like you were speaking my story. Do you know what I mean? And I can totally relate with you because one of my main symptoms in the beginning of the craziness was the lightheadedness. And I just turned my head to the side and all of a sudden I'd feel like I was going to pass out, like stuff like that. The feelings that you can't drive your kids around, like, all of that type of stuff, So just thank you for being here and like sharing that, because I'm sure that like me, there's a lot of people that are listening and going, oh my God, like I went through that or I went through something similar. But I'm wondering if you can speak to the fact of what you mentioned about it being an invisible illness, because I know how hard personally that was. People would look at me like, you're crazy, nothing's wrong with you. Because they don't understand that like you can look perfectly normal and have an autoimmune condition and just be falling apart and barely making it through the day. So could you talk about that so people can better understand that?
Yeah, it's really hard because like I said, I could be sitting at my desk at work 1 minute, I'm totally fine. And the next minute I'm incapacitated. And it was pretty obvious when I was having like a major episode, but it just really affects your feeling of self-worth and how you cope with those things. Somebody would have to take me home, drive me home, and like I'd have to go. We drove around with trash cans in our car, because it could just happen anytime. It happened to me when I was driving one time but I was safe. It was okay. But, it would happen all the time and people just can't understand. And a lot of times I had one woman who was a neighbor. I was like, is there any way you could help me? I had to go get my kids at the daycare, and it was the preschool. It was just about a mile away, but it's not like I could walk. And it was too far for that. And I'm like, and she was leaving and she's like, I can't. And I said, can you drive behind me? I said, because I'm very sick. I have this this illness, and this is what it's called. Nobody's heard of it. Nobody has anything, idea what it is. And she did follow behind me. I went inside. I threw up in the bushes. I go inside, get the kids, you know, because it was a very short distance and I knew I could get there. I wasn't completely out of commission. And she told us later, she said, I didn't know what you were talking about. I thought you were drunk. And, you know, like I was really concerned and thought about calling Child Protective Services. And I mean, that crushed me. I could cry just thinking about that. And that's been like over 10 years ago. And I thought it is so hard to explain to people how bad it can be, you know, because you just don't understand. And it's a cycle and you just get down and, you know, like why sometimes you do have, you know, a pity party because it's really difficult. It can be very difficult to navigate and being in that vicious cycle. And I just, you know, and not to understanding what's happening. Like once I started developing new symptoms, I was like, what is happening? I have done everything the right way. You know, I've done it all and it's just not getting better. So, you know, it's very frustrating. And I so wish that someone had said, you know, try an elimination diet. Just try cutting out processed food. You know, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And they never do. And the treatments are still the same because, you know, like, yeah, and that many years ago, you know, the internet wasn't like what it is now. So it wasn't like you could go online and, you know, look up stuff the way you can now. But yeah, it can be very difficult and very confusing. And you can start to feel hopeless when it comes to that. So
I understand.
Yeah.
So Alison, we have a question here from the audience. This is from Mike.
Okay. Hi, Mike.
Alison, have people noticed a difference in your health? And if so, what is your reaction when you tell them you are eating this way?
Yes. So people have started to notice because I have lost about 30 pounds since January. That's not the most weight, like probably lifetime, you know, from my heaviest was like, it's probably 50 pounds, but since last year, 30 pounds. That's always what they noticed, you know, but they also noticed my personality is a little bit, brighter, or, you know, I seem happier and more talkative and stuff. So if it depends on who it is. If it's somebody that I don't know very well, I might just say I do keto or like a strict keto. But if it's somebody that, you know, I care about, like all my family and all my friends know. And a lot of them are like, oh, this is another one of her harebrained ideas. You know, that was very much in the beginning, the reaction. My family and my close friends were like, okay, you're going to do that. Okay. Sounds good. But then I had someone, best friend, she said to me, she said, but I know what kind of person you are. And I know that if this is something that you are doing, you have researched it. And I was like, that was the best compliment. Cause she saw, you know, cause I do like to research and I like to, you know, understand things, and I can be obsessive about that. So I've read lots and lots of books and watched hundreds and hundreds of videos, you know? So usually for the most part, it's, you know, it's a positive reaction. We're like, oh, that Alison, she's doing this weird thing again. You know, she's into this now. But I will tell you that I have like 3 or 4 people that are actually doing it, that are doing like a carnivore diet. You know, it's really popular right now, especially because it's World Carnivore Month. And some close friends or family that are trying it. And, you know, they would have never known about it unless I had told them. So, yeah. I
just put this up on the screen here really quick. It's not a question, but Gerald, earlier he had said that he just started the carnivore diet. So he says, pleasure hanging out with y'all. I'll try to catch more live streams. Thank you for sharing your journey. He was leaving. So good night, Gerald. Good luck on your own journey that you've started.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you mentioned World Carnivore Month this month. the other thing about it is it's January, and everybody,
Yes.
not everybody, but a large portion of people,
Yeah.
they're going to have a New Year's resolution to lose weight. So people are starting to think about how are different ways to lose weight. So it ties in perfectly with it being World Carnivore Month, I guess.
Yes.
And that's great that you've got, you know, people around you that are willing to go ahead and try the diet. I'm still trying to get there with people around me, but well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, well.
I mean, it has taken a while. Now, it didn't take my husband as long just because, well, first of all, Dale is a little more, he's pretty competitive in a, you know, fun way. And so he was like, oh, you've lost some weight. I'm going to try this. And he did. So but he's a little more keto. He's not quite, he's been mostly carnivore since the holidays, but yeah, he's been doing it. And then, but I mean, it's really more of an example, you know, being the example for people, you know, to see, oh, this might work. Maybe this isn't so crazy.
Yeah. Adam, Carnivore Today, is here. Says hello to everybody. So hello, Adam. Greg, I don't want to skip you here. Do you have any comments or questions for Alison? Or?
You know, I've been following Alison for some time now, and I know you're going to be doing a live with Kip coming up, and I know you're pretty excited about that. I think that's pretty cool. But I wanted to ask you, I know you started last January. You know, how do you feel today versus January? I mean, how do you really feel? I mean, what can you describe how your emotions and how your journey went this last year? Sum it up overall.
Yeah, overall, this is the first year I have ever gone that I can ever remember since I was like a teenager that I have not had a weight loss resolution. It's the first time in years and years. And I was thinking about that. It didn't dawn on me till probably last week. And I was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe that I changed my life for the better and my health for the better. I might get emotional, but I did it.
Yeah.
You know, we did it.
Did it.
And so, yeah. So it's been so freeing, and my mental health is so much better. So I didn't even realize, and that's the thing. I don't think most people realize how just it's, you know, it wasn't clinical depression, because I had that when I was younger, but it wasn't clinical depression. It was just this, okay, you know, I'm old, I'm sick, tired all the time, you know, and just the going through the motions of life. And I don't feel that way anymore. I'm excited about things. I'm happy. I can handle, you know, if my emotions get out of whack, I can manage that. And I'm not always either depressed or so high. My anxiety had gotten so bad, and it was so high that, you know, it was affecting my day-to-day life. But it's so much more manageable now.
Yeah.
So it's been great, you know, and I've had a couple of challenges, you know, of course. It's not completely just rainbows and ribeyes, but it's, you know, I've had to manage a couple of things like my thyroid, you know, that kind of thing. It's fluctuated a lot because, you know, my body is different now. So I'm working on that kind of thing. Dealing with the reasons behind, you know, emotional eating and that kind of thing. And taking it day to day. And then, you know, there's just been some, you know, challenging aspects, but I'll take it. I'll take those challenges over what I was dealing with, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been really fun just watching your journey this last year. Because I mean, early on I could see your struggle in your videos a little bit, not with the video part, but just your life and the changes. And it's been fun to watch you evolve and get stronger and grow and get healthier. And I just want to congratulate you, because I have watched most of your videos this last year, and you've come a long ways. I'm really proud of you. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I will get really red because I'm terrible. I've always been a really ugly crier, so I won't cry all the way, but thank
That's
you
okay.
very much.
Aw.
I get really red and like this tomato face. Mm.
So I like this this comment that Mike made while
Mhm.
you were talking there. Isn't it weird that the world just accepts that getting old comes with all these problems? If only we had known about the proper human diet.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought about this the other day too, a couple days ago, when everyone else around you that's your age, your peers, we're all sick. And it's like 8 out of 10, right? And it's like, well, why wouldn't we think that this is normal? And I'm like, that's not normal. I can see it now, but I couldn't see it before, but I can see it now. It's typical. Sadly, it's typical now, but it's not normal. It's not.
Yeah.
So,
So I have a little tidbit here based on like, what's normal and how people react and think about things, right? So let me see if I can do this here. I'm going to switch out and put myself at the big screen. Here we go. I'm on the big screen. Okay. So,
yes, thank you.
so the other day I went with my wife to Texas Roadhouse, and so I had done a video before talking about some different things, and one of my followers had given me this idea of what to get like as like side dishes, right? Because they want to give you like a salad, baked potato, or whatever, right? So all right, got time to order, and the waitress came over, and I don't know, I'm guessing she was like in her early 20s. Um, and so I go, okay, I'm gonna get the 16-ounce ribeye, medium rare. And she's like, okay, how about your sides? And I said, okay, this might sound like a strange, weird request, but I would like a salad, but I only want egg and cheese in it because they do egg in their salads, right? So I just want egg and cheese. And she looks at me, she's like, but you want me to just bring you some egg and cheese on the side? No, I want the egg and cheese as my salad. I don't want the lettuce, the tomato, the croutons, or the salad dressing. Oh, okay. And then she goes, do you want salad dressing with that? And I go, no, just egg and cheese. So she's like, okay, so really just egg and cheese? I'm like, yeah, just that, because I'm not going to eat the other stuff. And she's like, okay, how about your other side? I'm like, well, I'm not going to eat, I don't eat carbs. I'm not going to eat the other things. So can I have 2 orders of that, just the egg and cheese? She's like, you want that much eggs? Like, yeah, just the egg and cheese, 2 orders is my size, right? And she's like, okay. So she was like completely flustered that I would do something like this, right? So she comes back out, and when she comes out, she brings the bowl, and it looks mostly like cheese because the egg was kind of underneath. I had to flip it around a little bit, and there was a mixture of egg and cheese. And she's like, I really had to talk to the cook a little bit about this because he was like, are you sure they're not messing with you? They really just want egg and cheese? I'm like, yes. And it's funny because I forgot to say that she even, when I was telling her, she was like, I got to see if this is possible. I'm like, okay, you just don't put the other parts in the salad, but okay. So she brings it out, and it was one big bowl, so it probably was like 2 portions, right? So then she comes back a little bit before, like right before we get our steak, and she's asked like my wife like how her meal is so far, and then she's like, and how are your eggs and cheese? I'm like, they're actually pretty good, thanks. So then the steak comes out, and it's just the ribeye with nothing else on it. And at that point I had just finished the egg and cheese. She's like, wow, you ate all that? I'm like, yeah. I mean, normally people would have gotten like a salad with some sort of salad dressing that has like some sort of vegetable oils or seed oils in them, right? and they would have gotten like baked potato or mashed potatoes or something, and they would have ate all that, and nobody would have been like, you ate all that,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
But it's like eggs are like, oh my gosh, somebody's gonna eat a bunch of eggs. I don't get it. So she was really like floored that I do not eat carbs, in that I wanted just egg and cheese. And I told my wife, I'm like, I feel like in a few minutes here, we're going to have like every waiter walking past our table just to look and see if I'm eating. But it was like, that's just like that's the thing, right? That's how people treat things. Like if I would have ordered, let's say, cheese fries as an appetizer or something, and then the steak with mashed potatoes in a salad or something like that, and then like a big cookie ice cream thing for dessert, there would have been no batting an eye.
Yeah.
But because I just wanted cheese and egg, no carb, it was like, that was the strangest thing in the world. Almost like I might be from Mars or something. I'm not really a human or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's my crazy story about how people look at things, and we just we don't know about the proper human diet.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can do this. That's not good. I lost everybody. There we go.
The look on your face, Brian, was hilarious. Yeah,
I knocked everybody out of the live stream. Let me see. I gotta catch up here. So Mike says an extra butter. So here's the thing, like I don't know what their butter is made out of and stuff. So I didn't do that. I didn't. Yeah, I like on my steak, I put a bunch of salt. I didn't put salt in my egg and cheese. My wife's like, why do you use so much salt? Like, because I need it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But,
I actually, Brian, it's funny. A couple weeks ago, we went home to Indiana, or back to Indiana, and I had watched a short on how to order carnivore at that restaurant at Texas Roadhouse. And it was just like you said. And my waitress was really young also, but I said, this is what I want you to tell, or this is what I want. Steak. And I had picked out my steak from the case. It's the first time I'd ever done that. And I'd taken a picture of it. And I said, I want that one. She's like, okay. And I said, I want the egg from a salad, but no salad. And then I said, I want a loaded baked potato, but no potato. And it worked out. Yeah. She didn't even question it. It was busy. It was like Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve or something. And so I wanted to tell you that I had success with that without weird looks. And I think it was just because they were kind of busy. But somebody said to us a couple months ago, how many of those electrolyte packets are you drinking in a day? And I was like, I just drink the unflavored, but my husband, he likes different flavors. And I said, because we were on a trip and we were walking a lot. And I was like, I think he will do maybe 2 or 3 a day, but like in a lot of water. And they were like, oh, are you sure that's okay? As they are drinking, their copious amounts of soda or lemonade or sweet tea or whatever, And I thought it's so strange because people just don't know. And, they wouldn't say anything to me if I was eating, a bunch of, ice cream or anything like that. They just would not, they just don't say anything. It's wild.
Yeah. So I think I know what short you're talking about. That's the Laura Spath short, right?
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
I saw that one. Yeah, I saw that one. That was pretty good. So let's see. Christy says, "Hello, Brian, egg and cheese. I'm doing that. I just want the reaction. I'll probably eat the egg." Yeah, I was kind of thinking they might bring 2 bowls, but they didn't.
Yeah.
But the bowl that they brought it in was bigger than the salad bowl because my wife got a salad. And so like my egg and cheese was definitely the equivalent of like 2 salads, and it was just egg and cheese. There was definitely multiple eggs mixed up in that.
Awesome.
And they used hard-boiled eggs, right? So they hard-boiled eggs and they cut them up, whatever. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
The whole world thinks you need to eat a balanced diet. We have taken the red pill. Yes, Mike.
That's
I
right, Mike
completely
Shelton.
agree with
Yeah.
you. And
I don't know.
William, oh, go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say, I don't know about you guys, but I have a hard time going out and eating steak anymore. I think I make a better steak at home.
I agree. It's too
Yeah,
expensive. You're like, oh, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
I
think it
agree
just
too.
even just my wife and I going out to the Mexican restaurants, $50 with the tip, and I'm like, I can get 7 steaks out of a ribeye
Mm,
roast. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
$50. So it's kind of like, well,
yeah.
you know, I can have nice steak at home, and
True.
And that's why, like, when we do go out, I like to go to Texas Roadhouse. Their ribeye is not too badly priced. It's similar in price to a sirloin at Outback. And it, to me, it tastes so much better than the Outback. But yeah, I agree. My steaks at home that I make are so much better. And, you know, I do the dry brining thing, right, where I salt them for like 24 to 48 hours ahead of time. And I think that makes a difference. Texas Roadhouse, though, has some pretty decent flavor to their ribeyes, I think. So, all right, so let me see what William says here. He says, yeah, the last time I was at Texas Roadhouse, they looked at me like an alien and told them, like, wait, they looked at me like an alien, and I told them to give me the biggest, fattiest ribeye they served and eggs for the salad, but none of the rabbit food or dressing. Yeah, that was the funny thing. Like, I told her, like, no salad dressing and everything, and then she's like, do you want salad dressing on it? I'm like, no, just egg and cheese. And she was just like, oh, really? Like, just egg and cheese? And I think she even said at one point, like, yeah, this is a weird request. I was like, okay. So now the next time we go there, it'll be funny if she's the waitress again.
That'd be great.
I bet she will remember me. She probably doesn't remember anybody, but she remembers me after that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. So I saw where missed it a little bit, but Mike was talking about the winter storm. Here we go. Winter storm warnings and wind chill warnings in Iowa. Wow.
I don't have to work tomorrow. They already canceled.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
How much snow?
5 to 10 inches, but I think we're also going to get like 40-mile-an-hour winds at like 10 o'clock in the morning, so you won't be able to see nothing.
Yeah.
Brian, did you get weather recently? Did you get snow down there?
We haven't gotten snow. We've just been getting rain. But see, we're in this crazy pattern here where like every 2 to 3 days it rains. And when I say it rains, I mean like 2 to 4 inches of rain and flooding.
Ooh.
It's been ridiculous. Like, so Virginia, if you don't live in Virginia, you probably don't know, but it's known as Virginia clay or dirt. So it doesn't soak up the water, right? So it sits there. And so, yeah, we have flooding really bad when that happens. And the funny thing is, like, from the summer, we were kind of in a little bit of a drought. And now it's like we just got too much water. Like, water's everywhere. So, yeah. But, yeah, it hasn't been cold enough yet. And it's funny because, like, you know, Mike Shaw, I think, will tell you we're in an El Nino right now, right? And this is the year in an El Nino that is make or break for Virginia, because sometimes it gets cold enough and then boom, we get hit with like 2 or 3 feet of snow. So like the one year we got hit, I think, with 33 inches, and then like a week later it was like 36 inches. It was ridiculous, right?
Wow.
So right now we've been good, but if you think about it, like 2 to 4 inches of rain, let's say 4 inches of rain, I think they usually say you multiply that by like 7 for snow. That's like 28 inches. So we would be over 2 feet of snow if any of those storms were snow. So far they've been rain. We got another one supposed to be coming tomorrow, I think. So we'll see. Again, it's supposed to be rain, but who knows? All right. William was talking a little bit more about his time at Texas Roadhouse. He said, then I said, put the potatoes and broccoli and rabbit and the rabbit for the to-go box so I could throw it in my garden for the neighborhood deer. And then the last thing I think that we got here about the whole Texas Roadhouse thing is from Brad. If I could talk right, Brad says, bone-in ribeye at Texas Roadhouse is the best. I agree. I've had the bone-in ribeye before. This particular time, I did not get the bone-in ribeye. I got I think it's called Outlaw ribeye. But yeah, the bone-in one is really good. But then he says those rolls are little devils in a basket. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm at the point where I don't get tempted by those rolls anymore, thankfully. My wife does not do low carb or carnivore, so she had one of the rolls. I probably would have put them on the table next to us or something. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't have any of them. I agree that those things, they're killer. Was that my volume? Sorry. Herbalina says, so far El Nino has been good to Minnesota. Minnesota's a place you usually think cold and snow, so that's good. It's interesting. We got a question here from Simpson. So Greg, what's your plans during tomorrow's snow day?
Well, I'm guessing I'll still have to get up and take my wife to work. I'll probably drive her just to, I don't know. We have 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. So, I mean, it's not really an issue, but I'll take her to work probably and pick her up. But other than that, I'll probably be catching up on YouTube. I meant to come down and create content for 3 days, and I just needed to take a break. I was kind of getting a little burned out. So, but I'm not, now I'm feeling it again, so I can create some more stuff and get some more videos out. But that's probably what I'll do tomorrow, that and snow removal.
So I think that's a good segue for Alison. What do you have coming up on YouTube? I know Greg mentioned the KIP live stream. Is there anything else?
Yes, I have KIP next Friday. That's exciting. I love doing these lives, but the tech part of it makes me a little anxious, but I'm doing so far. So good,
You're
good
doing
so
great.
far. Thank you. Okay, so doing in March, I booked Christy for Meeting Wellness, but that's out in March. I think I'm doing an interview tomorrow, but that's still TBD. It's under wraps still. So then I've been trying really hard to release 2 videos a week, so Fridays and Mondays. And I'm gonna, I'm trying to keep doing that. I feel like, oh no, what am I going to talk about now? But I always find something to get on here and record. So I might do a video on like my nighttime routine, because now that I'm I feel like an old lady. Like in the winter it's like cozy time. It gets dark so early, that kind of thing. Yeah, maybe I'll try that. So I'm not sure exactly on video ideas. If you want to give me some ideas, I would be very open to them. So
I was going to say, I can see Aaron and Allison doing a show or like a live stream. I think that'd be cool.
That'd be fun. Yeah. That's so funny because my brother's name is Aaron. So when you said Aaron and Allison, I was like, yeah, that'll be perfect. It just goes together.
People have been spelling my name that way for forever, and then everybody thinks that I'm a boy.
That you're a boy. Yeah. My brother's name was going to be Aaron either way, so it's going to be Aaron, Erin, or he turned out to be a boy. So yep, worked out. But yeah, so that is what is going on with me.
Cool. And Aaron, how about you? What do you have upcoming on your channel?
I am doing another collab with Mike Shaw and Christy on Saturday morning. We're doing another Coffee Across America. So I'm sure that will just be a little bit crazy like it always is. And I'm just keeping up with my usual content, my coffee times in the morning. It's just something I like to do, as I'm drinking my coffee and starting my morning routine. And nothing much other than that. And doing the shows with you guys every week. So
yeah.
Yep.
That's a good time for me to plug next week's episode. So next week, the Low Carb Lounge, it'll be episode number 2 at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. you get the idea. Anyway, our special guest next week will be Alia Wells. So looking forward to that one. And again, that'll be 7 p.m. Eastern time next Thursday, so a week from today. So Greg, what do you have coming up?
You know, I'm kind of working on a series that I'm going to put together on my channel for weight loss. Basically give people a roadmap on how to lose weight, how I should say how I lost my weight, so they can, if it's something they want to follow or mimic, they can do that. I'm kind of putting the series together. I'm almost done with video 1. I want to get a couple done before I start putting them out, because people are going to want to keep watching, especially as they lose weight. But I find a lot of times people ask me, Greg, how'd you do it? Or can you help me lose weight? How, and now I'll have something out there that I can point people to. Hey, you need to watch this series. This is how I did it. Maybe you can follow some of the tips that I use to help you on your journey. And so I'm kind of been working on that, let alone the other regular content. I've been doing quite a few more shorts, and much like Allison, I'm kind of doing 2 long form videos a week, trying to, and obviously the show, and yeah, lots going on, but it's all good. I'm loving life. I can't complain, and I'm loving my new job, and it's all good.
That's great.
Great. So I'm working on a couple of things too. Of course, we have the Low Carb Lounge next Thursday. I believe I have a live stream coming up this Sunday, but I have to confirm that, so I'm not going to really comment on that one other than saying that. But I'm also working on some content. One video that I'm working on has to do with challenges on the carnivore diet, and I'm going to share like my personal challenges that I faced throughout the 1.5 years on the carnivore diet, and then discuss some of the strategies that I've used to overcome those. So that's one video that I'm looking at doing. I'm also gonna put something probably together, talking a little bit more about just where I'm at with my diet, and maybe some tweaks that I'm going to kind of look at. Still carnivore, but just some tweaks of how I'm doing it. So I think I'm going to put that out in probably the next few days or so too. So a couple of good content videos, I think, that'll be coming out along with my live streams that I got coming up. So
Cool. That's great.
all right. So I know we want to keep the show to around 1.5 hours. That gives us a little over 5 minutes or so left. So if anybody has any questions for Alison or any of us, now's the time to put it in the chat, put a Q in front of it so that we know the question's there. I think I hit everything on our agenda. So there's nothing that I missed.
Hey, I got a question for you, Brian.
Yeah.
Did you ever try that keto chow?
I did try one of the packets. So yes, before we go to that answer, there's a question that just came in. It's from Simpson. Does Alison have a channel? Yes. If you look at scrolling at the bottom here in blue, where it says follow Alison on YouTube, it's at Alison Johnson 6710. So if you put youtube.com/@AlisonJohnson6710, that'll take you to her channel.
Thank you.
That'll take you to her channel, and then you can check out her channel and subscribe and all that good stuff. All right. So, yeah, so keto chow. So I did try one of them. I did like a shake thing with it. I'm thinking maybe I should do like a video, but I don't know. So, all right, this is going to be my honest opinion, and it's going to be an interesting opinion, and it's going to take me a few minutes to do it. So hopefully I can do it here before 8:30. Okay. So I think it really depends on the person. Okay. So here's the thing. It has very little carbs to it, right? There's a little bit, but it's very little. The but it's got a bit of a sweet taste. So that could be good or it could be bad, depending on the person, right? So if you're the type of person that you have a problem with cravings, it might be good because you could say, okay, I'm going to take this keto chow mix, make a shake up, and that's going to take care of my craving. On the other hand, depending on how you are, it might be bad. It might hinder you because it's going to continue to give you those cravings, I think, because of the sweetness. So for me, I'm the type of person that when I eat something bad, I get cravings and then I kind of struggle with that and try and get back to plan. Right now, I've been really, really good, really clean with what I'm eating, and I don't have cravings. So while I had one of those, I'm afraid to take any more because I'm afraid it's going to kick in more cravings and then it's going to make me want something that I shouldn't have. So I understand that keto chow is very popular for people. I think that it works well for people. I think there's certain people that it's good because it does help with their cravings. And I think that there's some people out there that it might hinder them because of the craving thing. So it depends on how you react, I guess. For me, I don't know that I necessarily get anything out of it because like right now, I just don't have cravings or anything. And I'm perfectly fine with just eating a steak and egg and cheese, obviously. But, you know, so that's kind of where I stand with it. But I did get this really cool blender bottle.
That's
I haven't even used it yet. As you can see, it's completely clean. But that was pretty cool that I got that. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
And we still got a couple minutes. So
Yeah,
last call for questions.
I was going to say, if all our viewers, make sure you go and check out Alison's page. It's on the bottom there. And also, I want to give my co-host some love here too. Make sure you go to Erin's page and give her some subs, give her some love. Same thing with Brian. They're great people. Make sure you give them a sub and help them out on their channel. And they make great content. I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't believe in these three people right here. So,
and I just put scrolling at the bottom, all three of our channels. I had Allison's already scrolling, but now I put ours on there. So you see at My Weight Loss Life is for Greg, at Wickivore is mine, which also is Wick Goes Carnivore, but it has to be, if you just put in the at, it's at Wickivore. And then Erin's is Brewing Better Living. It's not low carb, it's Brewing Better Living.
It was, yeah. I'm laughing because this morning, Greg, I was talking about tonight, and I'm like, yeah, it's Greg from My Weight Loss Life, and I said, Brian, oh, what's his? I'm like, Wickivore. I forgot like the actual.
you did that like twice, I think. So I let the laugh.
So today, I had it like pop up like in text message on the bottom of the thing.
I keep confusing everybody because the name is like Wick Goes Carnivore, but to get there, it's at Wickivore. So I think maybe I need to just change it. But what's that?
Your Instagram is different too.
Yeah, my Instagram is just my name, I think. It's Brian Wiki, right?
Yeah,
Brian.Wiki. And then my Twitter is at Coach Big Bri, because it was like when I used to coach youth sports, and I was a big guy. I was well over 300 pounds, big guy, and I guess intimidating to some of those 7 and 8 year olds were intimidated for some reason. I don't know why, but so that was my Twitter account. Yeah, so I'm all across the board. It's crazy.
Yeah, my Instagram is a lot different than my YouTube, and I'm like, and when I started my YouTube and my other Instagram were the same, and then I started an Instagram just for Carnivore, and so I'm always like, do people know that my YouTube and obviously my Instagram is Carnivore Alley? That's me on Instagram, and I'm like, do they know the two? Is it can they tell it's me? But I couldn't get my handle on YouTube. I couldn't change it. It was already taken. So there's another carnivore alley out there. So
See, on Twitter, I'm still the low carbist because they won't allow a certain number of characters, so I couldn't change it there.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, we are at 8:30. I think this was a great show. Thank you, Alison, for coming on today.
thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Alison. We appreciate
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming in and watching the show and commenting, and thank my co-hosts Aaron and Greg. So we'll see you guys next Thursday, 7 o'clock, with our special guest, Alia Wells. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.